You lied to me all this time.
I didn't kill him.
Then tell me who did.
It was someone you trusted.
Someone from my own village?
Yes. And if the valley knew, it would burn.
She married the man who killed her brother. Not because she forgave him, but because she wanted to destroy him from the inside. People still whisper about that wedding. The drums were loud. The dancing was forced. And standing in the middle of it all was Amina smiling calmly while marrying the most hated man in her village. But nobody knew the truth. 2 years earlier, the valley burned. Two neighboring communities, Kandar and Rivora, had lived with quiet tension for decades. Small arguments about land, water, old grudges passed down like family heirlooms. Then one night everything exploded. Houses were torched. Men marched with machetes and hunting rifles. Children hid under beds, while mothers prayed the doors would hold. And that night, Amina lost her brother, Tariq. Tariq had always been the protective one. Loud, stubborn, always ready to fight for his people. When the clashes started, he ran out to defend the village. He never came back. The next morning, they found his body at the edge of the river. And standing not far away, witnesses said they saw him. Victor Dane, the man from Rivora. The man people claimed struck the final blow. From that day, Amina stopped smiling. Her mother cried for months. Her father aged 10 years in one season. But Amina became something else entirely. Quiet. Watching. Waiting. And then the impossible happened. 6 months after the conflict ended, rumors spread across both villages. Amina had been visiting Rivora. Not once. Not twice. But many times. People thought she was crazy. Until the announcement dropped like thunder across the valley. Amina was marrying Victor Dane, the same man accused of killing her brother. Her family begged her to stop. The village elders threatened to exile her. But Amina stood in front of everyone, calm and stubborn. I know what I'm doing. But no one believed her. Except Amina. Because every smile she gave Victor, every gentle word, every promise she made at the altar was part of a plan. And Victor Dane had no idea. He had just married the most dangerous woman in the valley. The wedding shocked both communities. Kandar called Amina a traitor. Rivora called her a miracle. Because for the first time since the violence, someone from the enemy village had crossed the line and chosen peace. Victor seemed proud of it. He held her hand everywhere they went.
It is, Victor.
Walked through the market with his head high like a man who had conquered war itself. But at night, Amina watched him differently. Studying him. Learning him. Victor Dane wasn't the monster she had imagined.
It is.
That confused her. He laughed easily. Helped his neighbors repair roofs. Played with children in the village square. None of it made sense. How could a man capable of killing Tariq look so normal? Still, Amina never forgot. Every night before sleeping, she repeated the same thing in her mind. You didn't marry him for love. You married him for justice. Victor, of course, believed a different story. He thought Amina's decision was proof that the past could be buried. Sometimes he even said it out loud. We are proof this valley can heal. Each time he said that, Amina forced herself to smile. Because if Victor ever saw the hatred hiding behind her eyes, everything would collapse. But revenge requires patience. Weeks turned into months. And slowly, Amina began gaining Victor's full trust. He told her things. About the night of the conflict. About the chaos. About how people from both villages had lost control. But there was one detail Victor never explained. Not once. He never talked about Tariq. Not even when Amina carefully brought her brother's name into conversations. Victor would simply go quiet. Change the subject. Walk away. That silence fed Amina's anger. Because to her silence meant guilt. And guilt meant the time for revenge was getting closer. What Victor didn't know was that Amina had already begun step 2 of her plan. She wasn't just living with him. She was gathering something far more dangerous. Evidence. And one day soon, she planned to reveal the truth in a way the entire valley would never forget. The first crack in Victor's perfect image came during a village meeting. It was supposed to be simple. Leaders from Kandar and Rivora gathering to discuss rebuilding farms destroyed during the conflict. Peace talks. Symbolic gestures. Victor stood in front of everyone like a hero of reconciliation. Amina and I approve the future doesn't have to look like the past. The crowd clapped. But Amina noticed something strange. Across the room, an old man named Harun, one of Rivora's former militia fighters, stared at Victor with a look that wasn't admiration. It was fear. Later that night, Amina found Harun sitting alone outside a small tea stall. She approached carefully. "You were there that night, weren't you?" Harun's hand froze halfway to his cup. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes you do," Amina said softly. "The night my brother died." The old man's eyes darted around nervously. Then he whispered something that made Amina's heart pound. "Your brother wasn't supposed to die." Amina leaned closer. "What do you mean?" Harun hesitated. "Victor didn't plan that fight. None of us did. Things got out of control. But he killed Tariq." Harun shook his head slowly. "No." The word hit Amina like cold water. "No." Harun looked terrified now. "There were too many men fighting. Too much smoke. Too many weapons." "Then who killed him?" Amina demanded. But Harun stood abruptly. "You shouldn't dig into this. Some truths would destroy more than they fix." And just like that, he walked away. Amina stood there frozen. For the first time since the wedding, doubt crept into her mind. Had she married the wrong enemy? But the next morning, something happened that made the mystery even darker. Victor received a message. A message that made the confident man suddenly pale. Amina watched carefully as he read it. His hands trembled. "What is it?" she asked. Victor forced a smile. "Nothing important." But Amina noticed something else. Victor burned the letter immediately. And whatever was written in that message scared the man she thought she understood. Amina couldn't sleep that night. Victor had never looked afraid before. Angry. Yes. Confident. Always. But afraid. Never. The burned letter kept replaying in her mind. So when Victor finally fell asleep, she quietly slipped out of bed. If he was hiding something, she was going to find it. Victor kept an old wooden chest in a storage room behind their house. He rarely opened it. Amina had noticed it months ago. Tonight, she finally lifted the lid. Inside were maps, old photographs, and something she never expected.
What is this?
A Rivora militia
A
armband.
militia armband?
Her hands tightened. Victor had
This
always
symbol,
claimed he wasn't
it
part
can't
of the
be.
fighters that night.
What have they done?
But the evidence in front of her said otherwise. Then she found a small notebook. Names, dates, meetings, and one entry circled in red. The river operation. Below it was a list of fighters. Victor's name was there. So was Harun's. And another name Amina recognized immediately. A name from her own village. Her breath caught. Because the third name wasn't someone from Rivora. It was someone from Kandar. Someone who had stood beside her family during Tariq's funeral. Someone who had sworn to help them find justice. Chief Musa. Amina felt the room spinning. Chief Musa had led the search for Tariq's killer. He had blamed Rivora. Blamed Victor. Blamed everyone across the border. But if this notebook was real, then Musa had been part of the operation that caused Tariq's death. And Victor might not be the villain she thought he was. But before Amina could process the truth, a voice spoke from the doorway. "You weren't supposed to see that." Amina slowly turned. Victor stood there. And the look on his face wasn't anger. It was something worse. Regret. For a long moment neither of them spoke. Amina held the notebook in her shaking hands. "You lied to me." Victor didn't deny it. "Yes." The honesty made the silence even heavier. "You told me you weren't part of the militia," Amina continued. "I wasn't supposed to be." Victor stepped into the room slowly. "That night Musa contacted some of us from Rivora. He said there was a secret plan to stop the violence before it spread." Amina's eyes burned. "And you believed him?" He said leaders from both villages agreed. Victor ran a hand through his hair. But it was a trap. The words dropped like stones. Musa
Musa
wanted the
wanted the
fighting,
fighting.
Victor continued.
He wanted chaos so
He
he
wanted
could gain
chaos so
power
he
after
could
the
gain
war.
power after the war. Amina's
My
voice
brother
trembled.
died in that chaos.
My brother died in that chaos. Victor looked at her with raw guilt. I know.
And you expect me to
believe
believe
you had
nothing to do with it?
Victor took a slow breath. I didn't kill Tariq. Amina's jaw tightened. Then who did? Victor hesitated. That hesitation told her everything. You know, she whispered. Victor finally spoke. Yes. Amina's
Then
heart
say
pounded.
it.
Then say it. Victor's voice was barely above a whisper. The man who killed your brother was someone from your own village. The room fell into a terrifying silence. Because if Victor was telling the truth, then Amina had married her enemy for revenge. Only to discover the real enemy had been standing beside her family all along. And the worst part. Chief Musa had just announced a new meeting between the villages. Tomorrow. A meeting where both communities would gather again. Which meant one thing. If Amina revealed the truth, the fragile peace she created with her controversial marriage might ignite an even bigger war.